Don't be fooled by formation debates and tactics boards. If you listen closely to Ruben Amorim, he keeps repeating one simple idea. Manchester United's biggest problem this season isn't shape, it's intensity. That becomes clear when you line up everything he has said in the last few weeks. Ahead of the Everton game, he was asked again whether he'd consider abandoning his back three system. His answer was firm. The issues, he insisted, have never really been about formation. United's bad performances came when the team lost concentration, became less aggressive, and stopped playing with conviction. The starting 11 is just the beginning. The real difference between winning and dropping points is how dynamic, confident, and intense those players are when the match starts to swing. To understand why that matters, you need to rewind a year. Amorim arrived at Old Trafford in November 2024, with United sitting in the bottom half and the fan base drained by a decade of false dawns after Sir Alex Ferguson. They did rally to reach a European final, but in the league, they fell all the way to 15th, the lowest finish of the modern era. At various points, his future looked uncertain, and many outside the club expected yet another reset in the summer. Instead, the ownership doubled down. When Sir Jim Ratcliffe publicly said Amorim would be backed for 3 years, it sounded almost naive at the time. Plenty of supporters and plenty of pundits were skeptical. Owners always talk about projects. Managers are always backed, right up until the moment results turn. But inside the dressing room, that message mattered. It told the squad that the coach was not a short-term firefighter. It gave him the political cover to make unpopular calls, change the squad profile, and stand by a system that looked chaotic in its early months. That context also explains why some fans now accuse Amorim of being too positive about the hierarchy. When he first arrived, he spoke bluntly about inheriting the worst version of modern Manchester United. He was open about the need for major surgery. This season, his public tone is softer. He talks about doing more with less, praises the club for smart recruitment, and stresses that the squad is progressing. On social media, that has been interpreted as him going too far in defending the owners. In reality, this looks more like a manager playing the political game, while he still tries to nudge the rebuild in his direction. The results give him cover. United now sit in the European places, unbeaten in most recent league games, with big wins against Chelsea and Liverpool, and a dramatic 2-2 draw at Tottenham sealed by Matthijs de Ligt's late header. They are not title favorites, but they are no longer a punchline. When a manager has lifted a team from 15th to the top half and into the conversation for the Champions League, he can afford to lean into optimism without sounding delusional. De Ligt's form is central to that story. After difficult spells at Juventus and Bayern, he arrived at United as an expensive solution, only to have a very mixed first season. This year, under Amorim's back three, he looks close to the defender who once captained Ajax to a Champions League semi-final. He is winning duels, attacking set pieces, organizing the line, and stepping into midfield when United build out. For many supporters, he has been United's best player so far. The irony is that when Wayne Rooney recently named his top 3 Premier League performers of the season, he chose Bryan Mbeumo, Antoine Semenyo, and Victor Gyökeres. No De Ligt, no Erling Haaland. That list has caused plenty of debate, but it also hints at how much respect Mbeumo and Semenyo are earning across the league. Rooney's picks tie directly into the other major question hanging over Amorim. What exactly is he planning in attack? United have already thrown serious money at their forward line. Matheus Cunha, Mbeumo, and Benjamin Šeško arrived. In the summer, giving Amorim the running power, pressing, and flexibility he prefers. The early returns have been encouraging. Mbeumo has started the season with key goals and assists, and has been praised publicly as a working machine. A forward who presses, runs, and links transitions. Cunha has finally broken his scoring duck, and looks increasingly comfortable as a hybrid forward who defends from the front. Šeško's adaptation has been slower, and a recent injury has limited his minutes. But the long-term plan is clearly to develop him into a modern number 9. Given that spending and that structure, you might assume United are done in the attacking market for now. Yet the reporting around Amorim's January and summer plans suggests otherwise. Multiple briefings have stressed that, on top of at least 2 midfield reinforcements, he wants another attacker. Specifically, a quick, skillful, electric player who can operate as a winger, a second striker, or even as an attacking wingback. Depending on the shape, the profile sounds very similar to the kind of vertical threat he used so effectively in Portugal. That has naturally led to speculation. Karim Adeyemi at Dortmund is one of the names floated, because he is versatile, rapid, and available in the right circumstances. Antoine Semenyo keeps coming up too, especially after reports of a release clause at Bournemouth, and fresh links to United, Liverpool, and Spurs. The Goldbridge clip you referenced reflects the fans' confusion. If Amorim already has wide forwards like Mbeumo and young options like Amad Diallo, Garnacho, and others, why push for yet another winger or hybrid 10 when the squad so clearly needs more in midfield and at wingback? From the outside, the logic looks like this. Amorim is fully committed to his 3-4-3-3-2-5 structure. In that system, the 2 players either side of the central forward are not traditional touchline wingers. They are inside forwards who attack half spaces, press from the front, and can rotate into number 10 positions. Behind them, the wingbacks have to provide width and overloads. If one of the inside forwards is missing, or if a wingback option lacks end product, the whole attacking structure suffers. Amorim's push for one more electric attacker is about having enough depth and flexibility in those roles to maintain intensity across a long season. At the same time, even the most optimistic observer accepts that United need more than just another attacker. Midfield is still unbalanced. Casemiro's upturn in form has been a positive storyline, but he is in his 30s and has struggled for consistency over 2 seasons. Young signings still feel like ideas rather than proven solutions. The club's own briefings admit that a major midfield refresh is the number 1 priority for the next window or 2. The debate among supporters is about sequencing. Should United commit limited resources to another winger or hybrid 10 before they properly address central midfield? Or should Amorim be told to wait on his extra attacker until the spine is rebuilt? This is where the politics and the football tie together. Publicly, Amorim keeps the tone light. He speaks positively about doing more with less, about making the most of the squad he has, about trusting his players. Privately, every interview about intensity and mentality also doubles as a message to his employers. He is effectively saying, the structure works when the energy is there. But to play this way for 38 games, you need a certain type of athlete and a certain depth of options. That includes the winger, number 10 profile he keeps hinting at, but also, crucially, central midfielders who can run, press, and pass at the required level. The same dynamic shows up in how he talks about ownership backing. When he references Ratcliffe's 3-year support and says that statement helped the team, some fans hear a manager going soft. Others hear a coach carefully reinforcing the idea that this is a long-term project. In a league where managers are constantly on trial, reminding everyone that there is a multi-year commitment is a way of buying time and leverage. If the club chooses not to invest in key positions in January, it will be harder for the hierarchy to pin all blame on the coach if results later stall. On top of that comes the human side. Amorim has already shown he is not afraid to be brutally honest in private. Earlier last season, reports emerged of him calling one iteration of the team The worst United he had seen. Not to humiliate players, but to shock them out of complacency. That sort of language does not work forever. Once results improve, the message has to evolve. You cannot keep telling a group that is now 7th in the table and beating top teams that they are the club's worst side ever. Switching to language about confidence, intensity and details is part of building a sustainable culture rather than a permanent crisis mode. So where does that leave? Manchester United, heading into the next phase of the season, they have a manager who insists the system is sound and that the real issue is how hard and how consistently his players execute it. They have ownership that, at least in public, is promising patience and backing. They have an attack that has been significantly upgraded, driven by domestic signings like Mbeumo and Cunha, but still lacks a fully convincing plan at center forward, while Šeško finds his feet and recovers fitness. They have a midfield that clearly needs more legs and quality. And they have a manager quietly lobbying for a specific type of electric attacker, while also talking more positively about doing more with less. From the outside, that can look contradictory. Is Amorim the blunt truth-teller who once called United's squad the worst in modern club history? Or is he now a politician, praising his bosses and talking up the group's strengths? In reality, he is trying to be both. The coach demanding intensity and high standards in public, and the project manager protecting his own authority by aligning with the ownership where it makes sense. In the end, the answers won't come from transfer gossip or interview soundbites. They will come from the pitch. If United keep pressing with the same hunger they showed against Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs, if Ligt continues to lead a more secure back line, if Mbeumo and the rest of the forward line sustain their output, the club can afford to be selective in January. If intensity drops and old habits return, the calls for new signings and for another reset will grow louder again. The real question then is not just what is Amorim doing? It is this: can he turn intensity into a non-negotiable identity while steering the politics of a changing club? Or will Manchester United once again find themselves blaming systems and signings instead of fixing behaviors when the pressure hits?